Just coming to this little spot where Juliet and I sometimes like to do a sit spot. And just want to share with you some of the rhythm of how long it takes each of us to settle down. I immediately know I want to sit on this rock, so I'm going to do that. And we'll notice Juliet as she goes through her routine, which should take a bit longer. I am going to take her leash and step on it and wrap it around my foot so that I'm not, like, my arm isn't getting jerked. There we go. Sometimes I'll even tie her leash around this tree. And I'm really just starting to settle myself into this spot and not gonna worry too much about Juliet. I know her leash is attached to my foot and she can't go anywhere or really get into anything that I don't want her to, so I'm just gonna focus on myself and noticing things myself, kind of like Juliet is doing, actually, of getting used to this spot and investigating, but we're each doing it in our own way. For myself, I'm just noticing my rhythm start to slow down a little. It's a little different because I've got the camera on and I'm filming for you. But if I look around and notice other things, I'm just noticing how quiet this spot is, or still, in this little alcove of the Acton Arboretum. I'm noticing some pokeweed over here that's got a really tall plant, and thinking about the berries that will come on it later in the year. And these redbud trees that I love. And Juliet is still poking around, but perhaps slowing down a little. But I'm really not attached to whether or not she slows down. I know she can't go anywhere, and I want her to be able to just do her own thing. And do what she needs to do to get settled in this place. I'm looking around myself, not necessarily at Juliet. Do you see those robins? And this is a really important aspect of forest sitting with your dog, is focusing on my own attention, on my own things, because Juliet picks up on that. And she picks up on that I'm watching something else and how my energy and attention settles. So although I have the camera on her now, I am not looking at her. Really, as long as she's not getting into anything that would harm her, I'm letting her do her own thing. Letting go myself of any desire to perhaps have her lie down or sit down with me in a certain way. Letting each of us do our own things. I smell the breeze. It's a very warm and sticky, humid morning, even though we're out early. But that really, for me, raises the level of the scents that are in the air from the different plants. As I turn my head in different directions, I can smell different things. Noticing Juliet put her nose down to the ground and wondering if I will smell different things closer to the ground or higher up in the air, or even turning my nose up to the air, to the wind, the way the animals do, the way our dogs do. Noticing the differences in what I smell. Sometimes, not always. If you notice a little bandage on Juliet's leg, she's okay. It's just a little spot she's been licking. Still have the leash looped on my foot. One of the things of forest bathing with my dog is, or forest bathing with our dogs, have made me realize is that we're all using our senses, but we use them differently. Where I primarily use my sight, Juliet is primarily using her sense of smell. And sometimes it's fun to use my imagination and watching her smell things and imagine, like, what would they look like if I could see the scents? Would they have colors or textures? Would there be trails? Juliet's leash now has gotten looped around this tree as well as my foot, and I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna let it be. Again, just focusing on my own view, not necessarily watching her, and letting my own energy settle naturally as it just arises from sitting here and noticing the rhythms of this place. Noticing some birds in the brush over here. They may have moved on. I'm just noticing the time, and true to form, it's been about 10 or 15 minutes. Today, 15. I'll often do a sit spot for about 20 minutes. And sometimes it's that long before Juliet will sit down herself. And sometimes she just stands, and that's okay. It's really more the quiet energy, the watchful, quiet energy that is what we're waiting for to naturally emerge. And that really happened even around 10 minutes or a little bit before. And it may not happen right next to us. Like, she was standing in those flower bushes earlier on, just noticing her own thing. I think there was a chipmunk in the wall, and she was hearing or noticing some things. But she was also just enjoying that spot herself. I mean, who am I to judge what spot Juliet wants to choose for herself? I chose this spot here on my stone. She has her own spot. And of course, all of this could be changed when we might encounter another person with a dog, or a chipmunk happens to run under our noses. So really, for me, it just comes down to remembering that when we find a spot, I often know right away that it's someplace I'd like to sit, and whether it feels safe, and if there's any awarenesses or things I need to think about. And for our dogs, my experience has been that it takes them about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go through that process and know that a spot, well, I don't know if that's the right language, more that they've just checked it out, they've investigated it, and they're at a point where they could take a break, take a rest, as well as sensing our energy, my human energy that has relaxed. Despite the fact that I have my phone out filming this, I think because I'm not focusing on my phone, Juliet isn't either. Oftentimes I've done a sit spot and pulled out my phone, and almost immediately Juliet will get up and start kind of rustling around again when she feels my attention, my energy change, because I'm looking at my phone, something that I'm really not even aware of has an effect on her. And so that's been very interesting to me. As we get ready to move on, let me get this camera, whoop, hold it that way. Let's see. Just thinking about wrapping up and getting ready to maybe move on. You know, Juliet and I have been at this for a while, and so I think it's important to give it some time and not lose hope that it can happen, because I absolutely think it can happen with even some of the most active dogs. It just may take longer, and there may be some days or some spots where that doesn't happen, but as they learn our rhythms, they learn. They pick it up. They learn what to do, and we're companions with each other, so they tune into our rhythms of wanting to sit and be watchful and be quiet, until a chipmunk runs in front of us. So her leash is still wrapped around the tree, let's see, and my foot. Whoop, let me just switch the video. There we go. So her leash is there. It's loose up by her. You know, there's just some slack. She's found a spot that she feels comfortable, still watching that wall that she was interested in. And the leash is still there and around my foot. Just gonna get up and show you my spot. Yeah, I've just been sitting under this tree, red bud tree, and here in our little quiet spot at the Acton Arboretum in Acton, Massachusetts. Juliet, you ready to go? Come on, let's go. See, now she doesn't even want to go. This frequently happens. Come on, let's go. You ready? Yeah, what a good girl. Come on. Come on, let's go. Thanks for tuning in.